Hello, hello. Happy Thursday, guys. Welcome to our fun and free love letter paint party. We are going live today to paint some fun Valentine's paintings or painting. And if you're able to join, say hi. Let me know where you're watching from. If you're painting along, comment painting. If you're catching this on the replay, comment replay. I'm just going to open up Facebook here on my phone and make sure everything looks okay. Okay, it looks like I got volume, which is always my struggle. And hopefully I can see your guys' comments. So to get started, if you're new here, my name's Byrdie Larsen, and I own Redbyrd Designs, which is a small business in Montana that creates home decor. We do DIY kits. We have two memberships. One membership where I teach women how to paint and grow in their art journey in a safe community. That's called Redbyrd Designs. And I also have another membership club for DIY crafters where we send a little bit of joy every month to your door for some creative joy in making a little craft. And the box contains everything that you need to create that craft. And that's called the Joy Box. So that is who we are. If you like this video and would love to see more, give me some thumbs up or some hearts to let me know that you enjoy these videos. I so would appreciate you spreading the joy in to get the word out about the videos, and then also comment and say hi. I would love to see and say hi back to everyone who's able to watch. All right, let's get started. So like I said earlier, we are painting the love letter today. This is a really simple and fun painting, and if you'd like to paint along and want the supply list and tracer for this, the link is in the description. It takes you to my website, which you'll see a slew of available tracers and supply lists. Find the one that you want, click on it, you insert your email and hit submit, and it will email you a zip file of the item. Please let me know if you have any issues with that, and I would be happy to help out. If you're unable to get it or run into any errors, let me know. Alright, let me just see if I can see, hopefully I can see comments. There we go. Hi Sarah, good afternoon Darla. Yes, it is a cold day, but the forecast shows some warm weather coming up next week, so we'll look forward to that. Okay, so let's just take a look. Let me put, well, let's see if I can just put this on the side here. We can have both. We'll see partial of it. Okay, so the tracer comes in two sheets. It's for an 11 by 14, but you could take those PDFs and scale them up or down, whatever the size you're working with. They come in two sheets, a top and a bottom, and then you just line them up and tape them together. And so I've got that all done, and I've placed it on my paper. I am painting on 11 by 14 mixed media paper. And I've lined it up and I've taped it down. So now we're ready to trace it on. I'm going to use some graphite paper or carbon paper. Carbon paper has two sides. It's got a dull side and a shiny side. Make sure that your dull side is down when you're getting ready to transfer your image. So I'm going to slide that up to the top here. I'm going to grab a pencil and start tracing these hearts and this top part on. Once I get that done, I can move my graphite paper down to trace the bottom part. Alright, we got that done. I'm just going to take a peek, make sure I got everything. We'll move it down since my graphite paper is only half the size. We'll do it in sections. There we go. And take another peek, make sure it looks good, and yes. So let's take a look at the colors. Now the supply list shows you the colors that I have used, but feel free to use any color you choose. What are your favorite Valentine colors? Maybe they're red and black and gray, or more reds and pinks. So go ahead and feel free to mix them up. Today I'm going to use black and white. I've got a granite gray that I'm going to use for the background, and I've got a baby, no, that's not the right pink. I've got a poodle skirt pink. It's a tongue twister, gets me every time. A velvet crush, and a razzleberry, and then the blue. What did I use? Where's my blue? I swear I just had it. Oh, wait, there it is. Cloudless. Cloudless for this, or a morning blue. It's okay. Reed, just put him outside. It's okay. So we have a little pup who likes to go in and out when the mailman gets here, so just ignore him if you hear him barking. He'll only be out there for 2 seconds because of the weather. He'll realize it's super cold. Okay, so let's get started here. We're going to start with our background, and I used a mix of the gray and the white. So we're going to add that to my palette here. Brushes. What are we using for brushes today? Just a few brushes. We're going to use a large round, a medium round, and a liner brush. I'm going to grab a small round. So 3 sizes of rounds, large, medium. I probably won't use the medium actually. I'll probably stick with just the large. A small round and a liner brush, and then I'm going to use a large flat for my background. And in the original I had used some palette knives to get some scrapings, and I'll show you that at the end, but that is absolutely not necessary for this painting. Alright, so we're going to load up our large flat. And I'm going to dip it in that granite gray. So I've loaded my brush up with both colors, and then I'm just going to come out and start blending that color right on my paper. But I don't want to over blend. I want to have some variance in those colors where there's a dark and a light area. And I'm also, because it's a light color, not too concerned about cutting in around my hearts. As you can see here, I've painted right over the lines, but I can still see a hint of that line. And so what that does is when we just kind of brush right into that space, it gives us a nice brush stroke instead of a hard cut line that we might have around those elements. It kind of looks more natural if we just kind of brush right into that space, and then we'll cover that with the next color, the next layer. If you're worried about losing your lines, you could always go over your lines with a Sharpie to help them stand out just a little bit for that next step. Or you could put your background in first and then come back and put your tracer on top of that background after it's dried completely. So a couple different options there. So we really just had a small area here for that background, just kind of all the way around. Sarah says, I'm not painting today, but have you done the truck yet? Would love to join in on that one. I did do the truck already, and you can catch, I think we did that, did we do those last week? I think we did the truck and all of the 4 other cards last week. So go check out the videos. They're all under the videos tab, and we have an album on our Facebook group or Facebook page. The album's called Fun and Free, and we are trying to get organized and put all our videos in that. So you should be able to find it there. Deborah's asking, can we enlarge it to an 11 by 14? The truck, you could. The PDF and the tracer for that is for the 4 by 6. And let me work on that, Deborah, and see, one, what your scale would be if you wanted to scale that up, scale that PDF, or maybe I can just create a tracer for it that's a little bit bigger. Did I see somebody from Oregon? Yes. Hi from Oregon. Beautiful card. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right. So I'm going to next put my card in. And I really think I'm using a different blue on my original. And I don't have my supply list right here. I want to say I'm using like a blue cotton, but of course it's nowhere to be found in my list, in my paint pile here. Let me try this one. No, that's not it. It might have ran away with one of the kids. So I'm gonna use a morning blue from Ednita's. Again, the color is not a big deal, exact color. Hi, Linda. Yes, it's cold. What is your temperature over there? Are you in northern or southern Iowa? I guess maybe it doesn't even matter. All of Montana is cold, so it doesn't matter. But northern Montana is a little bit colder than the south. Okay, so I'm going to use my large flat to fill in my envelope here. When it's this cold, I just try not to go outside. Try and stay in. So I have these little spaces here where the envelope top or flap is peeking through my hearts. And just like with my background, I'm not going to be concerned about cutting in around too much, because I am going to come in with another layer and it will just cover it up anyways. So we're just going to messily kind of fill those spots in, and then we will, when we put our hearts in, we'll clean it up. Okay. So when you're using your brush, or when you're laying out your paint, make sure to put enough paint on your brush so that you can effortlessly push that paint around. A lot of times we want to be careful with the amount of paint on our brush. We don't load it up enough, and then we really struggle to push that paint around, and we start to just end up with these blank spots and get frustrated. So one tip that I want to leave with you today is make sure to load your brush up. It shouldn't be dripping, but get enough on there so that you can easily push that paint around. Oh, Linda, that's right. I forget you're from Havre, or you have lived in Havre, and yes, it was, I think yesterday they were in the top 5 cold, or top 5 temperature-wise in Montana. They had like a negative 51, I think I saw, without wind chill. So, yeah. It doesn't take much for that wind to really drop the temperature. I mean, the wind could be like 2 miles per hour and that temperature just drops like crazy. Yeah. Okay, so I've washed that. I'm going to switch now to a large round, and I'm going to go dip my brush into some white. And let's add some white accents around the envelope. So I'm going to put a streak down each side. We'll put a streak down the bottom. And then I can still see my lines to where the envelope is folded. So I'm going to add one on each side of that piece that folds up there. And then at the opening here. I could not get the tracer to open, therefore was not able to print it and participate. Oh shoot, I'm sorry. Let me, did you send me an email? If you can send me an email, I can send that to you. I'm so sorry about that. And I haven't checked my emails this morning, so maybe you did, and I apologize for that. But this will be available on the replay to catch it whenever it's the next convenient time for you. Okay, so you did reply. Okay, I will check my email and I will send it directly to you. I apologize. Dang it. My website skills are lacking, guys. I'm pretty tech savvy, but that website is just kind of a pain, and I'm working on getting someone to help me build that because it's a little bit more in depth than what I can handle. Okay, so I've got some of this poodle skirt pink here, and I'm going to start filling in some of these hearts. Just using a medium or a large round. Use whatever brush is comfortable for you. The more we paint, the more comfortable we get with certain brushes. We end up having favorites, and the rounds are my favorite. All right, what other ones? We got this one up here. And one over here. The other thing that I want to let you guys know is light coats is better than heavy coats. So in some cases you might need one or two coats to get a good coverage, but using multiple lighter coats is better than trying to really lay that on thick, because one, it takes longer to dry, and you know, when you're ready to go to that next step, you might think it's dry, the top might be dry, but the bottom isn't, and when you go to paint, it can cause a goopy mess if you're trying to, layer paint on top. So multiple light coats is better than one thick heavy coat. And it's tempting. I've tried it multiple times, especially if you're in a hurry. You're just like, I just need to get this one coat on, and I'm just gonna put a nice thick coat. And it doesn't always work that great. Okay, so we've got our pink in. Give our brush a wash, and let's grab this Velvet Crush. And we will fill in our purple hearts here. We've got one just sticking out of just coming out of the envelope. This painting reminds me of the cards that you see people opening and the glitter flies everywhere. And every year I threaten my husband with a card like that. I'm like, I'm going to order that card because he absolutely hates glitter. Alright, so I made this one a little bit bigger than the original. I've just kind of having it overlap that pink a little bit. but I think those glitter cards are kind of fun. But I do get it. The glitter is one of the hardest things to clean up. So show of hands, who loves glitter? Thumbs up for loves glitter, thumbs down for not a fan. It's so pretty, but such a pain. All right, we got 2 down. Deborah asks, what are you using for the palette? So this is a paper palette. Let me get you one that I haven't used yet. Let me pull that out. It is great. I absolutely love it because it's no clean, and I'm a lazy painter. So I have this. It comes, I get it from Amazon, and it's just sheets of paper, but the paper has kind of a waxy top to it, so it doesn't soak in my paint and dry them out, which paper plates can sometimes do that if you're working on something for a long time. And supposedly the gray helps us see the colors a little bit better. And I think it's less than 10 bucks. I get, how many sheets come in it? Does it say 50 sheets? And I use it and use it and use the same sheet over and over. So I've had this palette here for about a year, and I'm probably halfway done. So I continue to layer my paint on there until I get so crusty that it, becomes a nuisance, and then I just rip it off and throw it away. Super easy. Don't like glitter. It's pretty as long as it's in the container, right? Yeah. So we don't typically have glitter in the house because my husband hates it, and I agree to a point. I do have glitter paints which I use frequently, so that's my glitter fix, and it can't get everywhere because it's in a paint, so that is an alternative. Glitter paint or glitter glue, although honestly it's not quite as pretty if you were just to use plain glitter, but it's an alternative. There we go. So the purple is going to need a second coat, so I can still see some of that paper coming through there, but we'll let this layer dry and then we'll come back and add that second coat. So we've got a couple hearts that are this raspberry here. And so we'll get that out. Yep, glitter paint and glue are much better. Absolutely, it's manageable. It's manageable. Contains the mess. So if you didn't see, a couple days ago I posted what the painting of the month is for our clipboard collection. And it's just, our clipboard collection is a Facebook group where we go live once a month and do one painting a month. And more on the line, along the lines of lettering. So my goal this year is to grow my hand lettering skills, and so I created the group to do with you guys, and if you're interested in the same, you could go ahead and join that group. And so the idea behind clipboard collections is to create a piece of art with hand lettering. So the art on the in the background of the quote or the inspiration is something fairly easy, nothing complex, beginner level, just a really easy background, and then the focus is the lettering. And there is tracers available for that too. So to get you started, if you're just starting hand lettering, there's tracers available. And so in that group you can share and just follow along, and then once you're done with the painting, we do it on 11 or 8 by 10 sheets, or 8.5 by 11 is a little bit easier. Just cardstock or some heavyweight paper. And once you're done, then you're able to put that on a clipboard and hang that clipboard, you know, somewhere where you would see that and be inspired by the quote for that month. So feel free to pop over to that group and join us there. We'd love to have you. Even if you know, doing hand lettering isn't something that interests you, the tracer's available, so it's just a quick, easy painting, and you can kind of just follow along there. Clipboard collections. It's under the group tab of our Facebook page. Alright guys, we are almost got all these hearts filled in, and I just realized that I haven't done any of these small hearts that are floating around the side here. There we go. Okay, so we also have some hearts that are floating along the out here, and in the original I had used the poodle skirt pink. That's, I don't know if I'll ever be able to say that correctly the first time. But I've got this raspberry pink on my brush, and so I'm going to use that to create those floating hearts. And for smaller hearts, a quick little tip to create those is think of putting the letter V on your canvas. So if we think about it that way, we're going to bring our brush down on one side for that V on the left side there, and then we will come in the other way and come down to that corner, and we've got this cute little heart just by doing that, the brush strokes for the letter V. Let's see, so we got one there, we've got a little bit bigger one, so I'm just gonna press down a little bit harder to get a thicker brush stroke. We'll bring that one down. And so depending on how heavy your brush stroke is will depend on how big your heart gets. Also, the size of your brush. So if you wanted even smaller hearts, you could step your brush size down and get some really cute tiny ones in here. Let's see, we got one over here. And let's do one more over here. All right. So we're gonna go back and we're gonna layer our, the second coat on our hearts. So I'm gonna go back to the poodle skirt pink and come in with the second coat on my hearts here. Okay, looking much better with that second coat. Got a hair in there. I have a cat hair. I have a cat, so I have cat hair everywhere. See if I can pick that off. There we go. All right. Okay, before I wash my brush, I'm going to add, well, we'll come back and add white to all of the hearts later. We'll do a quick little wash and we're going to go back into that purple and we're going to put our second coat on those hearts. Next week's fun and free painting is the Kissy Gnomes. Super excited about that. It's so cute. And it does have, you know, a little bit of a holiday or a Valentine holiday theme, but we could always change, you could always change the color and make it just be a cute little painting. For any time. All right. Back to the razzleberry. There we go. And the little hearts really don't need a second coat. Since they were so small, I was able to kind of layer the paint right there and it looks great. All right, so I'm going to switch to my smallest, I think this is, let me see if I can see. I think it's a 1 or 2 liner brush. And we're going to load it up with white and add some fun highlights to our hearts. Okay, so we'll start with this large pink one here, and I'm going to kind of outline or create another heart inside with the white. So just a hair inside the line of the heart. We're going to bring in some white, and then I just added these little squiggles here and there. You could do dashes, we could do an X, and then continue on, kind of like little stitch marks maybe. So we're going to go around that one, and then I'm going to do that on the other hearts. So we just drag a little bit of white through there. We can create a little mark of some sort, whether that's a couple dots, a dash, an X. Just something fun and whimsical to break up our line. An X and an O would be cute. I don't know why I didn't think about that till just now. You could also do little words on the hearts, like the sweetheart words. Be mine, you're cute. Make them little pieces of candy coming out. There we go. All right, let's add them to the purple hearts. And I think the UPS truck is here, yep. So cue pup, that'll let us all know. So just have fun with these little marks. They're just something to add a little bit of some whimsy to our hearts. They're not anything that needs to be, you know, super precise in outlining or creating. What's the word I'm looking for? Exact. They also look like little decorated cookies. This is a whimsical, fun painting, so don't get too hung up if you know your X's are a little bit different size or the pattern that you use is a little different. It's a painterly style painting, so just a lot of fun. Okay. So we're going to continue with the white, and I'm going to add some of those easy hearts to my hearts using that V brush stroke. So I'm going to create this little pattern of hearts going down one side on this one. So the V, we do one side, we bring the other one down to that corner, and we've got these cute little hearts. And so you can decorate your hearts that way too. You could add polka dots to your hearts. You could create some stripes on some of the hearts and just have fun with patterns. And we'll put one little heart in this corner here. And then I'm going to just do a little white heart inside these smaller hearts up here. All right. Before I wash my brush, I have also added some hearts, white hearts, kind of floating around as well. And I'd use that same technique, just creating that V, and it's not as noticeable, and I'm not even sure if you can see them. But it's just a little subtle white heart that you kind of catch as you're walking by because the background is so light. But it's kind of fun to put those in and just kind of floating around. All right. Oh, I almost forgot my hearts on my envelope here. So we've got this row of hearts down here. Let's go add those. And I'm going to actually use my bigger brush for this so I can get a larger heart by using that V technique. So I've got my larger round, which this one is a size 12. And I'm going to create a row of white hearts down here on my envelope. Okay. All right, now let's grab some black and add some definition, and we are almost done with this painting. So I added just a little bit of water, a little couple drops of water to my black just to thin it out just a little bit so that it flows a little bit better. I've switched to my liner brush, which is the smallest, tiniest brush I have. And I'm going to add some detail lines or defining lines to the outside of my envelope to start with. And when I add these lines, I'm not too concerned about it being a solid black. You could definitely do that. But what I like to do is load my brush up, drag it across with really light pressure to get a nice thin line, and then when it runs out of paint, I pick it up, I go load my brush up again, and then I go a little bit further down so I have this blank space. I like the look of having it kind of a almost outline, but not completely. And you could also add some fun patterns in your black outlines as well if you wanted to, create some dots. You could add those in there between your outline lines, or some stitch marks, just some dashes. So then we're going to go next kind of up the fold on our envelope here. When you're doing detail lines like this, make sure to use a really light pressure. It helps to be able to set your arm down too sometimes. So if you're struggling with getting that really light line, try setting your hand down and working with it that way. Just make sure that your you know, your paint is dry wherever you're putting your hand down. I don't know how many times I've had paint on my hand because I forgot to do that. Okay, so I'm going to also outline my hearts in the same manner. Just kind of randomly placing some black lines. If this step also is a struggle and you don't want to do the outlining, you definitely don't have to. You can skip this step. You could also invest in a paint pen. Those are really handy for creating the outlining and some thinner black lines because it allows us to use it as we would if we were you know, writing, which is just a little more natural to us sometimes. But I guarantee the more you use the liner brush and practice, you will get better at it. And sometimes, you know, when you're getting to an area where it's hard to set your hand down, you know, you've got this area of wet and I'm trying to reach across, I'll use my pinky to hold my hand up so that it doesn't get tired and I'm able to then get a little bit, you know, get that light pressure that I need on my brush stroke. Setting your pinky down can help hold your hand up because it sure does get heavy after a while. And don't be afraid to move your art to accommodate you. So if, you know, turning this whole thing around so that you can get up here a little bit easier so you're not stretching your arm so far, do that. Move your items to accommodate you. Don't try and accommodate your art because you'll be more successful if you're painting in a more natural hand stroke in an area where you can get to easier. All right. We are almost done with this painting. I'm going to just add a little bit more water to my black, loosen it up a little bit, and I just need to put my little XO at the bottom of my envelope here. I added just a few little curly cues onto these ones. A little bit different. It's one of those what if moments that happens when you're painting and your creativity starts to come out. You start going, I wonder what would happen if I do this. So typically my paintings are never the same because they always do that. So there we go. There is our letter of hearts, our love letter. if you paint, if you do paint this, I would love to see it. I would love to see your creation, your take on this painting. This is the funnest part, is to see everyone's unique take on the paintings. And I didn't mention this before, but I did tape my painting down. One, just to help hold it down, and then two, I like the way that this gives me this really clean border. I've got this white border, which I'll hold up to the camera here in just a minute. But if you're going to do this, make sure that you're using some sort of painter's tape or masking tape. Don't use Scotch tape or even duct tape. But and then also just be careful when tearing that off. Go slow, and make sure your paint's dry, because it can tear your paper. Even masking tape can. I've got a little bit of a tear up here, but I'm okay with that. And if you do use this method, make sure that when you put the tape down that you press it really well to get a nice good seal so your paint doesn't bleed underneath. And if you're doing this method on a canvas, and canvas is really got that great texture to it and can cause it to bleed, my suggestion would be to put your tape down, start with a white coat all the way around. So you're going to come in and you're going to paint white all around your edges of your paint. And what that's going to do, if it bleeds under, it's white, so it's the same color as your canvas, but it creates a seal so that the next coat doesn't bleed under. And again, same deal, when you're ready to peel that tape off, make sure that you go nice and slow, and take your time with that so you don't tear your paint and such. So there we go, guys. That is our finished painting. So you can see that nice clean white border around the edge. Just gives it a finished look, but it is absolutely not necessary. It always looks great going all the way to the edge as well. So you can see, some of my brush strokes aren't perfect in the hearts, but again, it just adds to that fun, whimsical look of this painting. And so just have fun. Don't worry if all your brush strokes aren't perfect. All right, guys, that is our fun and free painting today. Thank you so much for joining us. Like I said, if you paint this, I would love to see your creation. Don't forget to, if you like these videos, give me a like, thumbs up, hearts, spread the joy, let others know about these fun and free paint parties that we're doing on Thursday, and stop in and say hi and let me know you're painting along when you do. So thanks, guys. Have a great weekend. Hopefully warmer weather is headed our way next week, and if I don't talk to you again, maybe we'll see each other next Thursday. We are doing the Kissy Gnomes, and let me show you that real quick. Let me pull out my sketchbook. I know they're in here somewhere. There they are. Nope, that's not it. Here we go. So this is next week. We're doing the Kissy Gnomes. Super cute. And then the following week, if you haven't seen it, we are going to dive into a little bit of some mixed media. So this is using scrapbook paper and some doilies and stencils. But if you don't have that material, I do talk about how to create this without it. So that is the following week. Thanks, Teresa. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. I look forward to doing these. Thursdays is slowly becoming my favorite day. These are so fun. It's just a nice way to get some creative therapy in and have fun. If you don't already, I highly encourage you to invest in a sketchbook. It gives you the freedom of just sitting down and painting without feeling committed to doing this great piece of art on a canvas. You just get that freedom of knowing that it's just a sketchbook, it's just a piece of paper, and it's okay if you mess up. So I do recommend getting one of those, and you could always join along in a sketchbook if you're new and nervous about painting on a canvas. So just make sure I didn't miss anything. All right, guys, thanks again for joining. I will chat with you later, and have a great weekend. Bye.